Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about eyeshadow palettes. So, I recently saw Millie, Bad to the Brow, do a video on her channel that was about her favorite color stories that have come out this year. So I've seen a bunch of other people do videos of here's their favorite palettes that have been this year, or like favorite makeup this year, and I might do like a favorite makeup so far this year so far, best makeup so far. But I really like that this was not necessarily things that she's even tried or talking about formula. This was strictly about color story and what color stories she's liked the most this year. So I really wanted to do that myself. So this is gonna be my go at that. I think I have 5 things that I'll talk about. So this shouldn't be the longest video. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup, with a definite soft spot for indie makeup and high-end makeup, which there will be both of today. And I tend to take a pretty analytical approach to the content I make, just based on my personality and training. And I have new videos every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. Okay, so I am pre-filming. I'm gonna be out of the country for 2 weeks. Until the end of the month. So I am trying to pre-film a few things. So this will be going up sometime while I'm gone. I'm gonna be editing later today and tomorrow. And so I don't think I'll be able to respond to comments very easily. I've been saying this in every one of these videos just to make sure, but I will eventually get to you all because I do like to chat with people in the comments. But if I don't respond quickly, that is why. I hope Millie doesn't mind that I am copying her video here, but I really liked this idea and I really wanted to do this myself. So this is going to be a mix of things that I have, that I bought or gotten in PR, and things that I haven't bought or received in any way, but I really appreciate the color story of. This has nothing to do about the brand, the formulas, anything like that. This is strictly about the color story and what has kind of been drawing me in. So there's been a lot of really great makeup that's come out this year, a lot of really great eyeshadow palettes and eyeshadow singles, a lot of things that I've reviewed on the channel that I've really loved. But if we're just going by color story, my absolute favorite, the things that are just like really drawing me in, I did have to narrow it down. So I think it's about half things that I own and half things that I don't. So I'm gonna do, I think I'll do the things that I own first just because they're right in front of me, but then we'll get into the other ones and why I'm drawn to them and why I might not actually bought them if I do really love the color story. One thing I also really like about this video idea, and one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, is because it also reinforces that just because something's pretty and just because you really like the way it looks doesn't mean you have to actually buy it. I can't physically, no one can physically own every beautiful piece of makeup. There's millions and millions of makeup items out there. You can't own it all. Even if you're a giant, you know, millions of subscribers YouTuber, you can't try it all, you can't own it all. And for most of us, smaller YouTubers or just everyday folk that don't have a channel, we can't buy it all, we can't try it all, we can't own it all. So I think it's really important with how much people buy and how much we consume. I consume a lot for both to review for the channel and just my personal taste. Although I've been buying less and less just because I want less and less. But I think it's important and something that I've taught myself over the years because I've been working in a small budget every month of what I can buy and review. Just because it's pretty and just because you really want it and it speaks to you doesn't mean you have to own it. Do you have something that looks like it already? Do you have something you can use instead? Or is it something that you can just admire from afar? And I think having that mentality as we're looking at these constant new makeup releases, like every week there's all this new stuff coming out. And so having that ability to take a step back and be like, I think this is beautiful. I would love to use this, but I don't need it. I don't have to own it. I think that's an important thing that we should try to do a little bit more, all of us. So the first thing that I want to mention as one of my favorite color stories for this year is this new palette from Byredo. It's boring in the best way possible. So this is the Desert Road palette. Mine, for some reason, didn't come with like the name and the shade names on the back like they're supposed to. But I really love this. I'm gonna be taking this with me to Europe. It is a nice, soft, everyday kind of palette for me. I've got a terracotta matte. I've got a green, a gold like a gold, orangey warm shimmer. There's a champagne. This is not revolutionary. I really love this like smoky satin purple. This is not revolutionary, but like the second I saw this, I was like, I need that. This is the first one of these palettes that I've bought. I do have most of their large $100 palettes, but this was the first of these, which these are $70. So like the price difference, size, and number of shades is not even. This though, I saw it and I was like, I need this. I love it. It looks like a perfect everyday palette. It is one of the 2 things I'm taking with me to Europe, along with my Surratt beige quad, which is what I have on the eyes today. There's something about this like desert tone that speaks to me, and like having it concise and having this purple. I just really think this was really well done. I think the formula is great and I really like it. It is not, I don't think it's for everyone, especially for the price because it's $70, but really love it. Formula aside, I just really like the color story. I've seen other small warm neutral palettes. Nomad sent me their travel palettes and there was like a small warm one in there, but that was like a little more red, and this is a little more earthy, and like the inclusion of that purple just makes it a little different, and I love it so much. Zero regrets buying it. I'm very happy that I have it. The next palette that I'll mention, I'm gonna mix them up. The next palette I'm gonna mention is one that I do not own. I will put a picture of it here, and it is the Groovy Garden palette from Ensley Rain. So I've not bought from Ensley Rain before. I don't know anything about the formula. I've heard nothing but good things about the formula, but they are expensive, and I haven't been wearing a ton of sparkly eyeshadow on a day-to-day, so I haven't been buying as many like indie sparkly palettes as I used to. But also, I don't like the AI artwork. That's a separate thing. I've talked about that before, and they've taken feedback and they said they're doing some pivots. But just on a color story, really like this. I really liked the Cold Moon palette. Like the last couple palettes they've had in this format, I have been very beautiful and very intriguing, and I've almost bought them. But this one is the one that came out earlier this year. I think it was in February. Really like the way this looks. I like that you have the lighter mattes on the top, dark mattes on the bottom. You have shimmers in the middle. They're all sparkly, special shimmers. You've got some, I have a picture of it right here next to me so I can remember what I'm referencing. If you see me looking this way, I'm looking at my computer. You've got some greens. You've got some more warm, like orangey brown tones. You've got some plummy tones. You've got some mauves. You've got a nice range of like, not neutral, but like neutral leaning. So they're not like bam colorful. They're a little more muted and a little desaturated, which I really like. Although the orangey tones do look like a little more punchy. And then the shimmers look really beautiful. They look very sparkly. You've got, let me click on this other photo. You've got one that's like a blue purple shift, which I have in singles and other things. You've got that like green, red, orange multi-chrome. You've got green gold. You've got more of a bronze to a green with like a little bit of blue in there too. I really love like a bronze based eyeshadow. So I just think this is a really well-rounded, really well thought out color story. I just really like it. Yeah, it was really hard not to buy it. But it wasn't in my budget at the time, and then the AI artwork I don't like. So that's why I didn't buy it, but love the color story so much. Okay, sticking with indie makeup, one of the things that I got in PR this year was a package from Odin's Eye. I'm not on the Odin's Eye PR list normally, but they did another collaboration, and I know Annette of Annette's Makeup Corner, and so she added me to the PR list, and I was very thankful. Hi, Bean. Did you just wake up? She added me to the PR list for the collection, and I really enjoyed all 3 of them. I think Annette's is really interesting. I like her Giant Wolves palette a little bit more from my personal taste, but I really like the new one. I think Judy did a great job making pastels that I actually enjoy. But the one that spoke to me the most, and the one that was my favorite at the time and that I've gone back to the most, is the palette that Tina, the Fancy Face, did. This is the Earthwood palette. You okay, Pete? She's very confused with my husband being gone. It's just like a perfect spring summer palette for me. So you've got a nice brown that you can use for anything that you want. You've got a green here, like a nice deep green. You've got some like poppy colors like this bright kind of sage, a peach, and a lilac. You've got a darker brown, and you've got some really fun colors. So I think this is a really nice, I think Tina just did a really good job. I like this better than her first palette that I did buy. I think this is wearable but fun. You've got some bright pops, you've got some neutrals, you've got some, I really like earthy tones and earthy focused palettes and color stories. Especially, I mean, I always have, but like the last year and a half, 2 years, that's where my heart's really like fully gone. Pastels and bright colors and neons and stuff are fun, but like that's a like maybe once a month thing for me now instead of an all the time thing. And an everyday thing for me is muted earthy tones. And I like that this has muted earthy tones and then some fun, bright, springy, summery pops of color. So this has been really speaking to me, and I've been very happy with this. And there's just something about this that speaks to me a lot. So had to include this as one of my favorite color stories of the year so far. One of the other color stories, and I'm gonna scoot back over so I can put it here, that really spoke to me and I almost bought multiple times was the new Lethal Cosmetics Avatar: The Last Airbender Earth palette. So the metal bending palette, I think is the name, or is it just the Earth palette? I don't know. They did one for each kingdom, tribe, one group, one style of bending. So there's the water bending, the air bending, the fire bending, and the earth. Fire bending one looks pretty, but I don't wear reds. The water bending, love blues, but I have other blues. I liked that the air bending was very appropriate and like based on Aang's colors, like the colors of his clothes and stuff. It was really hard. I was gonna buy the whole set. I love Lethal Cosmetics. I love their formulas. I thought they knocked it out of the park with this collection, but I did hold off. But the Earth palette is so beautiful. So you've got two greens. You've got more of a yellowy green in the top, and then a slightly more olive green in the middle row, and then a dark green, and then like a true kind of more like true Kelly green, and then a brown, so you can ground it a little bit. The shimmers look beautiful. There's shifty greens. There's a nice brown shimmer. I love a brown shimmer all over the lid, like a neutral brown with like a brown sparkly kind of a little more than satin. I actually really love. So this would be my perfect everyday palette. I could go brown, I could go olivey green, I could go bright green. I really love this. My friend Nipur, she got this. This was the one thing that she got from the collection. Looks beautiful on her, made me want it even more. But I just had to remember that I can't own everything. And I have lots of greens, I have browns, I have these tones, and I have kind of similar shimmers to other things. And while I adore this color story, I like the IP that it's part of. I didn't watch Avatar: The Last Airbender when it came out because I was in high school. And I was just like, okay, it's a Nickelodeon show. But I did watch it later and I really do enjoy it. I did watch the live action show. I really enjoy this. It was very hard, but I had to remember like it was expensive. I had other things that I wanted more, and I was like, I have things that are similar enough to this, and singles and things that I can deal without this. I don't have to own it, no matter how beautiful it is and how much I want it. And that was difficult, but I did stick to it, and I think it's beautiful, and I've been admiring it ever since. I think it is one of the best things that's come out this year. Okay, while I'm sitting over here, I'll do the last one that I don't own, and then I've got two more. So the last one that I don't own is another brand that I've never tried, and I've heard good things about the formula, but I haven't tried myself, and that is the Alena palette. I think that's how you say it, from Shel Makeup. I've been wanting to try Shel. They've had some other palettes that have spoken to me, and I've been like, ooh, I really like that. But I haven't jumped and actually purchased any of them yet. But this was the one that made me like pause and be like, am I gonna buy that? And who knows, I might buy it eventually, but it is beautiful. I'll put a picture here again, like I said. It's like a very me palette. So you've got neutrals for the mattes. You've got a really pale shade that I would maybe use on the inner corner as a brightening shade. You've got a good transition shade. You've got a deepening up shade. You've got like a smoky tone. You've got a brown kind of bronzy shimmer, which I love, said before. You've got a more iridescent purple, you've got a green. This is like me in a palette. I love an iridescent purple. I love a bronzy brown. I love neutrals. I like a green shimmer over neutrals. This is just perfect for me, and I really do want it. And I might buy it eventually, but like right now with the trip and everything else, I just don't have it in me to, I still have other stuff I need to review still. So I held back, and I think it's beautiful, and I would love to get it one of these days. Let me know if you've tried it. So this is less about the formula and more about not buying stuff, but I love it. Like, I keep looking at Instagram and looking at this palette, and then I have to say, like, it's one of those, I can admire it from afar. I don't have to own it. I could try to dupe it. If you'd like to see that video, let me know. Because especially once we move into like more fall weather in a couple months, this is what I will want to be grabbing all the time. And I just really love it. I really love the way it looks. A lot of my friends have tried Shel. Some of my friends get PR from Shel. I have not tried them. But I would love to try this. It is really beautiful. It is one of this is like top 3 favorite things that I've seen this year. And I don't own it. So remember, you don't have to buy everything. Okay, I'm gonna scoot it back over a little. And the last 2 things are things that I do own. One I bought, one I got in PR. So the next one will be no surprise to anyone, and it is the Mineral Scapes palette from Byredo. I think this is back in stock if you haven't got it yet and you wanted it because it was out of stock for a while. I love this. It is cool tones. Like some kind of neutral, cool neutral, I would say. I haven't been wearing it as much the last couple weeks because it's now like hot in Seattle. We went from like kind of spring, kind of not, to like summer, and it being like, for the last week it was like 90 something every day. And I'm not wearing a lot of makeup when it's that hot. But I love this. You've got really beautiful blues, you've got really beautiful clay tones, you've got some more taupes, you've got some greens, but they're like earthy greens that I love. You've got some golds to go along with that. And you've got these like purple, but like very muted purples. I love this. The inspiration behind this is like a Swedish forest, riverside nature, like Swedish nature, but so you've got the plants, you've got the rocks, you've got the clay and the earth, you've got the water. I love this. Again, it's earthy, but cool toned. Kind of like how Flora Kalahari was. If this was a few years ago, it would have been in the same video for me. Or if it was favorite color stories of all time, it would probably be in there. It's earthy desert landscape that speaks to me as someone who was born and like lived a lot of my life, or lived part of my life in that environment. There's something that speaks to me about it. But I love this. This is definitely one of the best palettes that come out this year. Might end up being my favorite of the year. We'll see at the end of the year, but I really love this. And the color story, the formula is great. But besides that, the color story speaks to me so much. The moment I saw this color story, I was like, I need it. I don't care if it's Byredo, I don't care what it is, I need it. And then the fact that it was also in a formula I like and really, really enjoy, it's just so good. But I love this color story. I'm gonna put it a little closer. I love this color story so much. It's just so special to me. And I know a lot of people are like, that's boring or whatever, and that's fine. But for me, this is very special. And then the last palette I'm gonna talk about today is one that I got in PR, and I love it. It is also in the contender for top palette of the year, and it is the Crype Cosmetics Burnt Forest palette. I believe this is back in stock. I know it was sold out, I think. And they've launched some more singles since then, but not another palette. This is a new brand from China. This is their first palette, and this is outstanding. Like formula, amazing. My best friend's also used this. She borrowed it and loved it. But color story, it's so good. It's very me in a palette again. So you've got neutrals, kind of more yellowy brown, which works well for my skin tone, a darker brown, you know, a highlighting inner corner shade. You've got greens, you've got a light green and a dark green and a black. So green and neutrals, my go-tos. Blue, favorite favorite color outside of green. And I love the way blue looks against green and with neutrals, like neutral eye with a blue shimmer. The Starry Sky shade is literally what it looks like, the Van Gogh painting, but in an eyeshadow. You've got green gold, you've got, I don't normally like red, but this like red gold shifty shade here is, I think you can kind of see the gold reflection up there. Really beautiful. I just think this is an outstanding color story, especially the first one that the brand launched. And I think fits the theme of a burnt forest so well. You've got the trees, you've got the earth, you've got the water, you've got the fire, you've got the ash, you've got the night sky. It's amazing. I love it. So that is everything. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what your favorite color stories are this year, like purchased or not, in the comments. I just really liked this idea, and I really love these color stories. I hope that if Millie sees this, that she likes this. Thank you, Millie, for making your video because I found it very inspiring, and let me know what you all think about this. Love to hear your thoughts and talk to you all in the comments like always. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video.